Some Democrats in the Senate are refusing to even meet with President Trump's pick for the Supreme Court. Watch.
No, because I believe, first, that the whole process has been illegitimate, and second, because she's already stated that she is for overturning the ACA, I will not meet with her.
I will not be meeting with her. I will take the opportunity to question her when she is under oath.
I have no intention of meeting with Judge Barrett because I simply refuse to treat this process, a sham, illegitimate process, as really legitimate.
Let's bring in Trey Gowdy, host of the Trey Gowdy podcast and a Fox News contributor. So lots to talk about here. I wanted to read to you something from Axios this morning about Democrats feeling boxed in, saying that liberals could mishandle this by boycotting or treating her with disrespect. You could have the Judiciary Committee screw it up on the Democratic side, or you could have someone look like a religious bigot out of all of this. So they feel like they might be, caught between a rock and a hard place.
Or all of the above. If you watch Dianne Feinstein during her Court of Appeals confirmation, I think it's incredibly disrespectful not to meet with someone. I didn't like it when my colleagues boycotted the State of the Union or boycotted the inauguration. It's disrespectful. But Dana, let's be absolutely clear. I mean, what's the last blue state Democrat to vote for a Republican nominee for the Supreme Court anyway? I mean, they never were going to vote for her, so at least they're saving her the time and the effort to try to appeal to their fair-mindedness, because there is none.
Yeah, just go straight to the confirmation hearing. I know Marco Rubio, the senator from Florida, he refused to meet with Merrick Garland, but other Republicans did meet with him there. Of course, we know Merrick Garland did not get a vote either. Take a listen to President Trump last night about Amy Coney Barrett being attacked because of her religion.
I thought we settled this 60 years ago with the election of John F. Kennedy. But seriously, they're going after her Catholicism. I will stand with her, fight with her, and we will make sure that these attacks stop, because it's unprecedented. They're basically fighting a major religion in our country. This is incredible.
And attacks on religion, Trey, are really antithetical to the actual Constitution.
Yeah, there is expressly a no religious test, but I just can't get over the irony of it. It was a devout Catholic put on the bench by a Republican who actually saved the ACA. So for all of the Democrats who are worried about the Affordable Care Act, it was John Roberts, a Catholic put on the bench by a Republican, that saved it. I mean, Roe versus Wade, which is getting a lot of attention, 5 of the 7 justices were put on the bench by Republicans. So what I find really ironic, Dana, is I went back and looked. I mean, every article refers to her as a devout Catholic, like that's somehow a negative. I went back and looked. And back in the old days, the media also wanted us to believe that Nancy Pelosi was a devout Catholic. They used that term a lot with her and with Joe Biden. They wanted us to believe because he held rosary beads or because she prayed for her enemies. But now they use that phrase devout Catholic because they want to scare us about her. I think she's smart enough to separate her religious beliefs from the oath. Speaking of the Bible, it says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. If she takes an oath that she's going to give priority to the Constitution over any other personal belief, I believe her when she takes it.
And she said that when in her appellate court confirmation. I did want to ask you about this. I mean, you were in Congress. We're supposed to have 3 equal branches of government, but over the past few decades, the executive branch and the judicial branch seem to have gotten a lot more powerful because the congressional branch seems to not do its job. And it's very, like, if they passed better laws, maybe they wouldn't have to rely on the Supreme Court in order to figure out what was actually constitutional. I want to get your thoughts on that.
Well, I think you're 100% right. Our framers were worried that the legislative branch would be too powerful. They need not worry about that. And, Alexander Hamilton thought the judicial branch would be the weakest of the 3, and he need not worry about that anymore. The legislative branch has abdicated its role in this tripartite system of government. And I listened as my Democrat colleagues applauded when Barack Obama said, I'll do it with or without you. And I have watched as some of my Republican colleagues have a different view on executive action now than they did 4 years ago. The legislative branch has been rendered feckless, and they have no one to blame but themselves.
Well, I know that you left Congress a little bit frustrated, but of course we're here very glad that you can explain to us your position on that, because I think that overall, aside from this particular Supreme Court nomination fight, that issue about the legislative branch needs a lot more discussion. Thank you so much, Trey Gowdy.